Hi everyone, it's Gareth again, doing another sitting, painting and chatting crap thing. So again, I'm going to be working on this guy again today. I started him last week and I might finish him this week. It's my flying hive tyrant. I've done some work on the wings and he's quite close to being finished. He's not going to get base today, but he might get everything else finished. So I'll be working on him, and I've got a few little gribblies to be painting as well. Excuse me. So yeah, so I'm doing this on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday because my counselling sessions, or my boost your mood sessions as they were called, have finished now. It was a 6-week course, and last week was my last one. So this is kind of like free time now, Tuesday. So I'm going to do this on Tuesdays now, and I'm going to use this as like reflecting time as well, because this is part of the counselling thing, to reflect on how your week's gone. And I'm probably going to try and keep this to about an hour again, but I'm going to keep painting afterwards because I've got a good, what's the time? It's just gone 11 now, so I've got 4 hours before I've really got to get ready for work and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to just paint until I don't feel like painting anymore, which knowing me will be quite soon. But yeah, so to start off with, reflecting on the week I've had. Well, I'm in London, and Sunday it snowed. So maybe not. Shouldn't start with Sunday, but why not? But yeah, it snowed Sunday, and like there was, oh my god, it snowed. Everyone was like, couldn't believe it snowed and whatever. So everyone was staying in and like keeping warm and whatever. But some people don't know what's best for them, like me. So I made my way to Uxbridge to go into my hobby shop, Games Workshop, and get some painting done. And I did some painting, did a fair bit of painting. It snowed all day, and like I was in the warm, so it didn't really matter. But it was cold getting there, and it was cold coming home. But it got done, so it was good. But starting back to last time I did this was Wednesday, to sit and paint. So going back to Wednesday, see, most of me reflecting on the week is going to revolve around work, and it's been another one of those kind of weeks at work where I'd say that I wanted to quit, and I did. I walked out of my job for 15 minutes. Basically, I had we were under a lot of pressure, and way too much pressure for the pay that I get. And we had a delivery driver who, strictly speaking, isn't a customer. We're their customers, and he was throwing abuse at our staff because we were dealing with other trucks. I drive forklifts, and so I offload big trucks, small trucks, vans, all kinds of stuff. And he was demanding that we stopped what we were doing and unloaded him, even though he was the last one to turn up, least important freight, but he had somewhere to be, so he demanded that we were unloading him. And after about 5 minutes of arguing with this guy, I said, do you know what? I'm not paid enough for this. I got my stuff out of my locker and I walked out. I only got as far as the bus stop up the top of the road, and like I was waiting for a bus, and I was just like, do you know what? This one guy who I see every Thursday, and he's quite arrogant. He's quite a pain in the ass. Excuse my language, but this is me. I'm not going to lose my job over him. So I went back. Mostly people were too busy to actually realise that I'd gone. But I did say to my supervisor how I had walked out. I'd had enough. I threw my ID pass across the room. I threw my toys out the pram, basically. Because we've been under a lot of pressure at work. I've only been back a few weeks, and I've been left to run things. I've been told to do jobs that isn't my job, that I don't get paid for, and I snapped. I fully snapped. And maybe it is a result of me having gone back to work too early, because I still don't feel that I'm fully prepared to go back to work with my fighting against depression. But work didn't really leave me a choice. It was a case of, if I didn't go back, I'd be on statutory sick pay. And I couldn't afford to do that. Although I'm not hard up for money. I'm not rich. But I can't afford to be on £60-something a week. So I went back to work, and I was straight away under pressure, because we're short staff and they've sacked some more people and whatever. But the company really isn't being fair. I mean, the pay is, for what we do, rubbish. To be quite frank, because people who have left there for whatever reason are already earning more money. And that's a bit disheartening. Like, I've put 15 years into working for this company, and to hear that I could walk into another job and get paid more straight away is quite a kick in the teeth. So yeah, that didn't make me happy. So like I said, I walked out, but I went back. I got on with my job, and the night was still a hard night. It's got pretty cold as well. I mean, I know London doesn't get as cold as like Canada and other places, but for us it was quite cold last week, and it's colder now as well. It's really cold now, and I'm back to work tonight, so that'll be fun. I'll wrap up warm. But reflecting on that now, I'm glad I went back, because like, one guy isn't worth me losing 15 years of my job over. So, and I made a complaint about him when he came back, because he realised what he'd done was wrong. He left the site, he went off site and come back later, and my supervisor pulled him to one side and said that wasn't on, although, well, whether I believe he did that or not, I didn't see it, so I don't know, I was too busy. But I'm not losing my job over someone else. If I'm gonna walk out my job, it's gonna be because I've got another job to walk into. I'm not just gonna walk out. And it's getting harder and harder to keep my I don't want to say bottle, but to hold my tongue at work, because it's so much pressure on us now for a job that isn't particularly well paid. It's okay paid. It's not minimum wage, but it's not going to get me a house. It's not going to get me my own home. So I think I've decided in the new year to move on, because I'm never going to go anywhere there. I'm stuck in the role that I'm in because of the job that I do. No one else wants to do what I do, so I'm the only one who does it. And it's frustrating, because I hear when I'm not there, my job doesn't get done, so they leave it for someone else to do on days. So there are people on there on days who do what I do, but not on nights. If I'm not there on nights, my job doesn't get done. So yeah, I'm definitely, I've got to do it for my own health, for my own mentality, wrong word, for my own mental health. I've got to get out of there. It's not doing me any good. So yeah, so that was work last week. But reflecting on other things, I mean, like I said, it was the last counselling session last week, and a group of us, we went out for a meal, went out and grabbed something to eat, and it was nice sitting chatting to people. And it's like, when we were in the counselling session, or the group session, whatever it was called, everything was kind of revolving around the fact that we were suffering with depression, or fighting depression, suffering. Although we've got a WhatsApp group, we talk and stuff, we didn't get to know the other people, but I think we did a little bit when we went out for the meal, which was quite nice. Again, I won't ever name names on here, but I get on really well with all of them. They're all really nice people. So yeah, that was good. So that was last Tuesday, and like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was back at work. So very little tends to happen when I'm working, because I try to get as much sleep as I can. Generally don't. And I was getting a little bit of painting done, but not as much as I would have liked. Friday, I think it was, I was nearly out on my feet. I was so tired. So I kind of just had a lazy day. I didn't really do anything before work. I'm still lifting my weights every day. And actually, was it Sunday, I went up a bit in the weights that I'm lifting. It sounds silly. I was only lifting 6.5 kilo on each arm, but I was doing it 50 times on each arm a day, so that's quite a lot. And I know for people who lift weights every day and have done for years, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is quite a lot. But I've gone up to 8 kilo now, so it was just with the 6.5 kilo, it was getting to the point where it wasn't burning anymore. It wasn't excuse me. It wasn't. It was getting easier. So to push myself, I was going up. I put myself up to 8 kilo. And that's 50 times a day. I'm doing that. 50 reps a day. So that's been good. And yesterday and Monday was the first time that I've done the 50 kilo. The 50 kilo, woo, 8 kilo. So yeah, and I was definitely feeling the burn from that. So I think I'm doing the right thing by upping it. Again, this guy is quite awkward to actually get in view of painting because he's so big. His wings, I should have left the wings off, but I was eager to build him when I built him 4 years ago or whatever. So yeah, so that's been good. And like I said, Sunday I was in my hobby shop. I was painting in there with some friends, and it's always nice to paint socially. It's kind of why doing these videos is good for me, because like otherwise I would just be sitting here with my own thoughts and thinking about friends that I miss and whatever. But yeah, doing this while I'm painting is good, as long as I don't get paint all over my hands. If I do, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm going to carry on doing these videos, and hopefully, well, definitely, come the new year, I'm going to have myself a better camera than my iPad, because all of these that I've filmed so far, this will be the 4th one. I've just done it with my iPad. So getting the angle right is a bit awkward, but it seems to be okay. It seems to be working, so we'll just leave it as it is. So yeah, so after Sunday, we won't mention the football. If any of you know me, I'm a Man U fan, and I'll leave it at that. So yeah, yesterday at the club, at my gaming club, I had 4 games. I played 4 games yesterday, and one of which was well, 3 of them, sorry, were using my Heresy World Eaters army. They're basically like proper bad guys. Like they've got surgical implants, and it drives them crazy unless they spill blood and slaughter and stuff. They're Space Marines, but they're crazy Space Marines. And the pre-heresy stuff it's Warhammer 30k, so it's not 40k. So you haven't got stuff like the Hive Tyrant here in it. It is mostly just Space Marines. Space Marines versus Space Marines. It's a civil war, and it's almost like historical gaming. Like you get some people who historical game, and they're like they play Germans and stuff during the World War 1 and 2. This is kind of similar in that it's a story that's already been written, and although there's big holes in it, I mean, you can make up your own story to go with it, which is what we did yesterday. Yeah, it was really good. I mean, we played 3 games on this board called Zone Mortalis. It's like you're fighting in a ship, so it's really cramped corridors, and it gives special rules to your models basically. And we played 3 games. I was the defending force, so I was, strictly speaking, my World Eaters, who are bad guys generally, were the loyalists. They were the guys who were standing up for the Imperium, and basically I was trying to escape a system that was under attack from the traitors, and get word out to the Imperium that the heresy was happening. I named my ship the Bared Fang, because World Eaters, that's the kind of thing they should have. It went very well for me. I think mainly because I'm a very close combat orientated army with my World Eaters. They are quite brutal close combat troops. And the guy I was playing Iron Warriors, and they're very much a shooty army. So I mean, they weren't easy games. I mean, it was close. It swung both ways, but I ended up winning all 3 games. So basically, I routed the say dastardly. Where did that come from? I routed the bad guys from my ship and I wiped them out. So it was successful at World Eaters. And I'm using it as I like to write my own kind of fluff and my story for my army. So with my World Eaters, my leader, he's called a Praetor. His name is Zathus, and if any of you have ever watched Babylon 5, you might know where that's from. It's back from Babylon 5, obviously. But he basically he's a character that I've used in previous campaign that we ran, and he like it's quite rare for the world eaters to be a loyalist army. So generally traitors. It means I can't use certain elements of the army, which is okay because they're only used in bigger games anyway. And so it limits me a little bit, but it's okay because that's it's a tactical challenge then, because the bits that it limits me on are really powerful. So it means I couldn't use my Primarch, who's called Angron. I couldn't use the really killy squad called Red Butchers. But that's okay. That's okay because it makes me try and think of other ways to fight and other ways to win the game. And it was a really good set of games. I then had a little 40k game against a guy I'm teaching the game to a little bit. He's learning from other people as well, so it's good. It's always good to not just learn from one source. Learning the game from a couple of people I think is better, because then you get different thing. Put my teeth back in. You get different views on the rules and stuff like that from different people. So it's good learning from a number of sources. Excuse me. And it was a really close game. He was playing Blood Angels. I was playing Space Marines, generic Space Marines, because I only had one army on me, which was my World Eaters, and so I used them as generic Space Marines because they're generic Space Marines otherwise. And that was a good game as well. It was very close. I generally, when I'm playing someone who is learning the game, like, I don't take all this mega powerful stuff, because what's the point in trying to teach someone the game if you're just going to wipe them off the table? You know? It's like, if you're going to play golf against someone, like say take golf for example, right? You're not going to bring your A game to teach someone how to play golf, are you? Right? You're going to lower yourself a little bit. I don't mean this in a condescending, nasty way or anything. But with my hobby, there's ways that you can lessen your army without reducing your tactical skill of playing. Like bringing certain things, like just generally dumbing the army down a little bit. And I don't mean this in a condescending way to the guy that I played, but it's what I've always done when I'm trying to teach people how to play a game. You don't maximize the strengths of your army. You play a general over army rather than a mega powerful one. And like I said, I'm not trying to be condescending and like say, oh, I played my weakest army or whatever. The idea is to help the guy learn the rules, and being that he was playing Blood Angels, who are Space Marines, against my Space Marines, it's one army against itself basically, so it helps with the rules. And I like that I'm helping people learn stuff. Like, I've had some feedback from these videos, people saying about how it's helped them and stuff, and like it makes me happy that I'm helping people. So yeah, so that game went quite well, and I won that as well. Like, I brought something that I never brought before, and I thought it might not be very powerful because it's very overpointed. It's very expensive points wise. Basically, if you don't play our games, every model in the army has a points value. Say a points is like a currency value in it. So when you get the really big, like this guy, so say this is a big Sony TV that's 50 inches and whatever, 50 inches big. So this guy's going to be more expensive than, say, this guy. This guy who is a little black and white portable handheld TV. And maybe not working very well by some little dinky company and stuff. So yeah, that's how the game works, and that's how everything's got its points value. And so this tank was the equivalent of like one of these. It's very points heavy. Lots of firepower, but excuse me. So yeah, so I played that, and the tank was very powerful, more powerful than I thought it would be. But we had fun anyway, and to me that's the main point of the game. It's not to get bragging rights over someone or to have that forever. Oh, I beat you, I beat you, I beat you. And it's to make sure everyone has fun. For me, that's the core of the hobby. Enjoying yourself, because what's the point in doing a hobby if you don't enjoy it? So yeah, so we had our game, and that was fun. So yeah, and that brings us up to today. So that's my reflecting on the week. So now I'm gonna talk a little bit about looking forward. I'm setting up. I'm helping set up. Sorry, it's not all me. Me and another guy are setting up a large game in Watford, and basically, it's called Apocalypse, and it's basically the really big battles. Like if you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, this is like. The games that we play generally are the little skirmish games, and they're the little battles like in the Fellowship of the Ring. You got Arm and Hen, which is where Boromir dies. They're little skirmishes. They're not major battles. So if you're going by the Lord of the Rings, then basically the Apocalypse games are the Helm's Deep, the Battle of Minas Tirith. They're the big thousands of men. Big war machines, those kind of games. So I'm helping arrange one at a club in Watford. I'm hoping to be playing in it myself, but it's not very likely, I'm afraid. So I will help arrange it. I'll help set up the rules for the game and the mission type and stuff like that. But it's not very likely that I can play in it. But I want to set up more Apocalypse games at my club, at our club. Sorry, it's not my club. I help run it. It's the Uxbridge Areas Club. Excuse me if you notice I'm coughing a lot. I've got a bit of a cold, but it's okay. So yeah, I'm going to be arranging some Apocalypse games because we've got the club now Monday afternoons 1 till 11. So we've got 10 hours and I can easily run an Apocalypse game in that time. As long as everyone sticks to the rules, which shouldn't be a problem. Generally speaking, if you're playing Apocalypse, you know your armies inside out, you know your game backwards and forwards. And you know most other people's armies as well. So yeah, so that should be fun. Whether I can go or not, I don't know. But we'll see. I'm just painting his teeth here, because you got to paint teeth on when he's got teeth that are that big. Focus a bit. Yep, you got to paint them because it's a kind of a feature of his face. Feature of your face. But yeah, so it's something that the Apocalypse games, it's something that I used to run at our club. Generally speaking, we would run maybe 4 or 5 a year. And because of circumstances like things at home and things at work and whatever. I haven't run one for about 2 years now, which is a shame because I really enjoy them. So yeah, we're going to start this up, and the idea for the Mondays is to get 1 or 2 people playing an apocalypse game. So they're not going to be massive scale games. They are going to be big scale, don't get me wrong. They're not going to be, generally speaking, the game that we play is about 2,000 points. So you're probably looking at 4,000 points a player for Apocalypse. And I'm going to run some smaller ones so it helps people learn how to play it. So when they go up to play a bigger one, they're not overwhelmed. Because it is quite overwhelming. Because you have time restraints, which you don't in 40k generally. And there's a bit of pressure on it as well. So yeah, it's well, my paint is really thick. So yeah, I want to run some people through some smaller games, and it will be up to them if they want to play in it. I mean, you don't have to play Apocalypse, but if you don't, you're losing an element of the game, I think, because it is so much fun. You get to play with all the really big toys. I mean, this guy sitting on here, compared to some of the bigger stuff that you can get, I mean, this is tiny compared to some of it. I mean, they've got these things called Titans, and easily they're 4 times the height of this guy. They're huge. I actually own one. It's not built, and it's been sitting in a box for about 4 years. I want to get round to it, but I have the fear of screwing it up. So I might get round to it at some point. I will get round to it at some point. It's just having the time to actually sit and do it. And I know it's kind of weird me saying that, considering that excuse me, I've been off for 4 weeks. I was off for 6 weeks with depression and stress and stuff. But that's not 6 weeks. I could get it built in 6 weeks, I think. But I was going through problems then. So it wasn't a good time for me to do something like that. I need to be in a happy place when I'm doing something like that. So yeah, basically now what I'm doing is I'm giving him his pattern on his blue shell. It's called a carapace. It's basically his. If you think of these guys like big bugs, this is his crunchy outer shell. It's basically his armor, and I've got this way that I paint them. I haven't got any fully painted ones out at the moment, but basically he has like a feathered effect on his shell, which I won't be able to show you yet. I'll show you at the end, but if I remember, because you won't be able to see it at the moment. So yeah, I also last week set up a new Facebook group for our local area for Uxbridge, and it's called Battlelux Off the Paint Table, which is a shameless plug for Alex Baker of Gorilla Miniature Games. I know I said I wouldn't name names, but like, this is different. He's on YouTube. He's in Canada. He's probably never ever going to see this video, but he's one of the YouTubers that I follow a lot, because his content is really good. I should have brought a drink up with me, but I forgot. So yeah, his video content's like really great. It's entertaining, it's informative, and if you're getting into the hobby, like, even if it's not Games Workshop stuff, there's loads of games out there that deal with miniatures. He is a really good inspiration for learning games and getting to know what to do when you're painting. He claims he's not a great painter, but he's pretty awesome. And his output of painting. I mean, I'm coming close to having painted 200 models this year. He's smashed that. He's painted, I think he was 400 and something last year. I can't remember. He's a painting machine, basically. And yeah, his content's really good. I mean, there's a game called Malifaux, which is basically, it's quite a weird game because, like, generally tabletop war games like this use dice rolls. Malifaux doesn't. It uses a deck of cards. So that in itself is quite strange. But it's a really fun game. It's like such silly things happen. Excuse me. So yeah, and Malifaux, I've played it a little bit, and I want to play it some more, but there's not really a community around here that play it. So I may have to I'll put that on the back burner for a little while, because at the moment 40k Games Workshop is kind of dominating the wargaming scene, and as much as some of my club friends will hate that, it is true. I can't say it's not, and no one can say it's not, because it is true. And some people hate Games Workshop because they're the big guy, and you know, it's just that's life. That's what happens. But yeah, so I've branched into other games, but I always fall back on this because it's what I enjoy. I'll turn this guy around because it's going to be a bit easier to paint him this way. So you could basically see his base, and that's all you're going to see. So I'm going to try and make it so you can actually see what I'm doing. Although you probably can't because it's not zoomed in or anything. Hopefully when I get my new camera, these will be a bit better focused, and it won't be like, it'll still be me rambling and stuff, because it helps me with dealing with things, just talking. Because even though, like, you can talk to people, specialists and people that say they're not linked to you and whatever, but you get to know these people, and like I say with my my friends, my counselling friends, like, you get to know them, and then you end up not wanting to put on them as well, because they're dealing with their own shit. So I've moved it so the base is in the way again. So yeah, so basically I'm doing this because this isn't me offloading on anyone, because the camera has no feelings, well, as far as I know. It could be a robot, but it's not. It's my iPad. And like I've always said before, don't feel compelled that you have to watch this. Like, I'd like people to watch it, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't get watched, it doesn't get watched. But I'm still going to do them because it's helping me out rather than anyone else. And I like that, you know, if it does help people out, that's fine, that's good. But these videos are for me, like, because at some point in the future, I haven't watched any of these videos that I've put out because they're unedited, they're just me. I've not watched them. I've caught little clips of them, like the first couple of seconds, because when I'm uploading them to YouTube, they randomly play bits of it and stuff like that when you're uploading. But so yeah, I haven't watched them, and then I'm hoping in years' time I can go back and look at these and say, do you know what? That time helped me so much in my life. And I really hope that is the case. You never know, there could be no electricity in the future and YouTube could die, but we'll see. And I've actually got to start deleting these off my iPad as well, because they're taking up way too much space. So this is why I need to get myself a camera, because then I can go on my laptop. My laptop's got so much more memory on it. Well, I need a new laptop as well. But there you go. We can't have everything we want in life, can we? So yeah, so I set up this Facebook group because I started talking about this like, what, 20 minutes ago, and I never finished it. I set up a Facebook group for the Uxbridge area, and it is basically as a motivational tool to help get people painting their armies. And I was going to do it as a generic hobby thing, like get people improving their golf score, or get people out playing football, or something like that. That's something else I want to come to in a minute as well, football. But yeah, I've got a lot of group sign-ups, which is basically, it's my wargaming group have signed up. And it's called Battlelux Off the Paint Table. Like I said, it's Ash Baker. He's got a group called, he does a YouTube video called On the Paint Table. It's basically, I've got to get this cough sorted. It's him showing what he's painted over the past week. And I watch this every week because it is quite awesome. And it's a little bit intimidating at some points because, like I said, he paints a lot. But the thing is, it's his job. He runs a YouTube channel, and it is his income, his YouTube videos. So he gets a lot more painting done than I do, but that's okay because I've got a full-time job where I can't touch painting while I'm there. I used to paint at the weekends when I used to be at work, but I don't work weekends anymore, so I don't paint at work. And we're way too busy for me to paint anything anyway at work. So yeah, this is inspired by him, and it's inspired by a few other people as well. Mini Wargamer J, he does like a sit and talk video like this, and he paints and just rambles a bit like I am. And I've been watching his videos, but he does a video blog as well. So he goes out walking and he talks into a camera. I'm a bit shy when it comes to being on camera, so I might not do that, but I might do at some point if I get my confidence up a little bit. But yeah, them and Mini Wargaming. Mini Wargaming is a YouTube channel, although they've got their own website as well now, based in Canada, and it is all wargaming. It's light-hearted humour, and I've been following them for about 8 years now. So these guys, and there are a few other YouTubers like Templars Crusade 01. He doesn't really do YouTube videos anymore because of work commitments and stuff, but it's some of his videos were really good. And another guy, Spud Tate. I can't remember what his YouTube channel is now. He hasn't made videos for ages. He used to just sit and ramble about his week and talk about his painting and stuff as well. And another one called Joey Berry. She hasn't made videos for a long time. But as I keep saying, life gets in the way. What can you do? Life sucks. So yeah, so thank you to all of these. If they ever see any of these videos, they probably never will. But if they do, thank you very much for everything you've done on YouTube. And I'd like to see you all back on there. But if you can't, you can't. Life gets in the way. But all of you at some point have helped me with my fight against my depression. Even if it's like Joey Berry used to do what was it? That she used to do the magic system in the old fantasy rules, and she used to review the magic spells. But she would do it dressed up as a character, and like it was so silly, but it was so funny. Like, and in some ways, YouTube's lost a little bit of that because everyone's a bit too serious now. It's like I used to watch wrestling all the time, because back when me and my brother used to like stay up and on Friday night and watch it, but this is before I was working or when I was off work or whatever. And this is back during the Attitude era when you had Stone Cold and you had Kurt Angle and you had The Rock, and it was funny. It was like seriously so funny. And now it's got to the point where it's just overly serious and it's not funny and it's not really entertainment anymore. And some people were like, oh yeah, but it's wrestling, it's all fake and whatever. But some of it was generally funny, and I really find it's just not anymore. It's not funny at all, which is a shame. Like I can't. I've missed our times. Me and my brother used to stay up late and watch wrestling, but things happen as you get older, and what can you do? Life again. So yeah, so thank you to all the YouTubers for all the content they've put out over the years. Like I said, I'm a social media junkie, and it's because of you guys that I am, basically. So if you ever see this, you're all to blame. But thank you. So yeah, so this guy now, I'm getting quite close to finishing him. I'm doing the feathering. I don't know if you can see on the back of his. It needs a bit more work, but it's getting there. So it's basically, like I said, they're like giant bugs. So if you ever looked closely to a beetle or whatever, they have like a distinctive markings on their shells, and this is what I'm going for with these guys. Because, like I said, they're giant bugs. And they're treated like giant bugs. People generally try and stamp on them. When the bugs aren't trying to eat the planet, that is. So yeah, I've got a few more paints to do on this guy, but like he should be finished. I shouldn't be painting him next time I'm doing one of these, because I'm going to try and get an hour or two painting a day this week, because I'm lagging behind a little bit with my target. I need 18 more models painted to finish the year, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sitting on my desk at the moment. So it will leave me with needing to paint 7, and it's totally doable. It's just finding the time. I haven't got the time, especially with work being like it is. I'm so tired when I come home, especially like this coming week. The other supervisor's back, the guy I don't get on very well with. He's back, and it won't be any early finishes. If we're finished work, he will be made to sit around and kill time until my time's up at work. I work till 4 in the morning, and I could take some painting into work, but if I'm going to take some stuff in and be sitting there for 45 minutes, it's not really worth it, because by the time I've set everything up, I'll need to pack it away again and go home. So it's kind of pointless. So I'm not going to be in Games Workshop on Saturday, I don't think. On Sunday, sorry. So because this is the last Sunday before Christmas, coming up. So I'm quite happy that I've got most of my Christmas shopping done. There are a few little bits and pieces I still have to get, but generally speaking, it's all done, which is quite good for me. I generally, like the last few years, I've been quite good with my Christmas shopping. I kind of just get it all online. that's easier. And I try to get people what I think they'll like, and hopefully I've got people what they'll like. And I would be quite happy if Christmas wasn't there. Like, people say, oh, but it's family time. It's family time. Well, we have a lot of family time anyway. Not as much as we used to, but we generally do have a lot of family time in our family, which is good. I really like it. But I'm just at the moment I can't like I multitask. So like I'm sitting here and talking crap into a camera. If I wasn't sitting here talking into a camera, I would have music on, or I'd have the TV on. When I'm building models, I'm generally doing it when I'm watching football or whatever. So being because we go to my sister's house, and like they got a really nice house, but we go there for Christmas, and I don't really have anything. So we're sitting around talking, and like it's fine. I'll play with my nephews and stuff, but then they want to go off and play their iPads or their consoles, and it's by themselves. And like I can't just sit there and do nothing. Because I get bored, and if I'm sitting there doing nothing, I'll probably be dozing off. It's not. I don't mean this in any kind of nasty way to anyone. But it's just because I'm so active all the time that when I'm not active, it's hard. And I know I should be able to just kick back and chill out and whatever, but I can't. Because if I sit back and I just relax and nice and quiet and whatever, I start thinking about the people I miss and the things that I've done in the past which I regret and all that kind of stuff. And it's I was watching one of the people from my group, my counselling group. She suggested a YouTuber. I can't remember the woman's name now. Meredith, I think her name is. This is on YouTube. But she's all about positive thinking and not falling into the trap of being around negative people and stuff like that. And some of her things like sound good, like she's saying about if you're in an environment that you're not particularly comfortable with, to distance your mind from it and basically like going into your own fantasy land sort of thing in your head. And yeah, I can understand that. That sounds like a pretty good idea, except that sometimes you can't always control where your head goes when you're thinking things. So I may have to think of something else. I mean, I don't think they would be very happy with me taking some painting with me over on Christmas Day. But I did suggest that we go for a walk because it's kind of our thing now. All the family seem to be doing it, well, except my mum and dad. We walk a lot because it's healthy, and why not? Like my thing is walking on Saturdays, because Saturdays are used to be my idle day. I used to do nothing. So to push myself, I mean, I walk a lot anyway with work. But to push myself that bit more, I'm walking on Saturdays now. I'm walking on Saturdays now. And I generally walk 4 miles, so I get my 10,000 steps in for the day. Hopefully the weather gets better, because it's not nice walking out in freezing cold, but you know. So I suggested that we go for a walk. Now my mum won't do that because she has trouble walking. My dad might, but he's more likely to stay at home with my mum. But the rest of us, my sister, my brother-in-law, and the two boys, will probably go for a walk. We'll take the dog as well because they've got a dog. And if we do, I'm going to try and take some photos while I'm out. Because they live in Windsor, so it's not like we're around where I live, where everything's grey and the sights are a bit sucky. But yeah, so it should be quite cool. And I haven't been out for a walk with people before, for a long walk like that. I generally go out by myself with my headphones on, because I walk at quite a pace where, like, I physically get out of breath. Like the other week I got home, and my parents were just getting home with shopping, and I generally had to say to them, look, I've got to grab a drink. I've got to chill out for a minute because I'm like physically tired. I'm out of breath, and so I don't walk slowly. I never have. I kind of march. So it might be a bit weird doing it with other people, but I think it'll be good as well to change things, to do something a bit different. And we've not done that before, gone out for a walk on Christmas Day, because it's only the last like year or so that we're trying to get a bit healthier, because we're a big family. I don't mean that in like many people. We are quite a big family, like height wise and size wise and whatever. And we're all trying to lose weight a bit, so I think it'll be a good thing for us. Make it a traditional thing, maybe. Probably not, but you never know. But it's going to be my thing, is keep walking. On the review for the counselling group, they asked what were my intentions for the future, and I simply put that to keep walking. Just keep it easy. It gives me time to think. It gives me time to reflect on things. And generally speaking, with my earphones in, I don't have time to dwell on things, because, like, sing along to myself in my head, because I sing in my head as well as out loud sometimes. And I know this is coming up to the hour now, but I'm going to get this guy finished before I finish this video. So I'm going to, literally all I'm doing is the last highlights on his bony spikes. And his teeth once I get to them. But it's very close to being finished. He isn't based, which is something I'll do probably when I go off camera. And I've got tiny little highlights to do. I've got to highlight his eyes and his tongue, which will take like 10 seconds. But this guy is pretty close to being finished now. Except his arms. I haven't actually finished his arms. If you can see, under his wings, like that. Oh, there you go. He's got slots where his arms go. So I've got to do them. But they shouldn't take too long. They're nearly finished. It's these things. He holds like two big guns in his hand. So I've got to finish them, but that shouldn't take too long, because they're literally just a bit of highlights. And painting the blue shell bit on the top of the gun, and that's done. So he is very close to being finished now. Because once I've finished this guy, I can move on to the little gribblies again. I did a lot of them in the shop on Sunday. Next week I'm not at the club. We're basically closed for 3 weeks now. Which, as much as I'm going to miss the gaming, is kind of a blessing as well. Blessing. See, this has come up before. I'm not a religious person. I'm not religious, but I use religious terms like "for God's sake" and whatever all the time, because it's just the environment I've been brought up in. But yeah, so basically the 3 weeks off from the club, because the third week is New Year's Day. So this will basically mean I've got Mondays to get some painting done. And it might be my thing that saves me in actually getting my my target painted, my target models painted. Because I'm not that far away. I mean, this time last year I think I was about the same distance, and I finished it on New Year's Eve. At 11:30 I finished my 200th model for the year. So that was pretty good. And I'll probably be doing the same thing this year because I'm home alone New Year's Eve, so I can have music blaring all night and I can just sit and paint until I don't want to paint anymore. And so yeah, the Facebook group, I've set myself a target to paint 201. Just go that one more, because it's always good to push yourself a little bit. And this guy, just finishing his teeth off, is more or less done. Like I said, I've got to highlight his eyes and I've got to highlight his tongue, but there he is. So I'm going to finish this video here because I'm at a stage where I need to go grab a drink and I need to go for a little walk around the house to help my back. But if you think that these videos are helpful to anyone, if they've helped you, and I know a lot of people don't like social media because it's the devil and whatever, and it has its bad sides, it has its good sides, but I like to think that maybe this is a good side of me talking like this and helping people. So if you like, if you know of anyone who is suffering with depression as well, then like, just probably my first video would probably be better. So maybe let them listen to that. It might help. I'm not saying I'm an expert in anything, but like I said, I've had feedback from people saying it's helped them. So yeah, but with that, I'm just rambling again now because that's all I've done for the hour and 2 minutes. But we're going to finish the video there. I'll see you same time next week, probably. Till then, I'm BigFriendlyWarGamer, or Gareth, I'm also known as, and goodbye.